Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Call of Cthulhu, the Mask of Nyarlathotep. I am your keeper, and apparently I have made a contract with the Great Darkness because I have gained a player and lost one. So we'll see if everyone survives tonight. But that being said, it is time for these wonderful people to tell you who they are and who they are playing, and we will start with Ricardo.
Hi, yeah, I'm Sir Monolith or at Sir Monolith on the social places that do the things. But I'm playing Ricardo here today. It's just a cagey little bookworm trying to not get murdered by cultists, but finding himself wrapped up in some interesting things. So we'll see what happens today, and hopefully he won't get stabbed.
We'll see. We'll see. Next up, Glyza.
Everyone, my name is Gliza, they, he, she, yes, in that order, and today I will be playing Jasper, who is apparently in the hospital.
All right, next up, Ezekiel.
Hey everybody, I'm Inkblood Demon. That's my socials. You can find me on the Discords, the ones at this point, and on Twitter there as well. I'm playing Ezekiel Washington, who just was recently released from the hospital, which is a common place for these investigators to congregate at and or potentially die. I'm gonna beat gravity this session, y'all. I got it in me. Thank you.
All right, next up, Mama.
Hey everybody, I am Mama McStabber, and I'll be playing Florence Buckley, a widow with way too much money and time on her hands.
And that is my personal favorite combination. But with our investigators formally introduced, it is time to return to the world of the 1920s. So, it has been a few hours since you all have seen Jasper, so we'll put the time at about 4 a.m. And we will say that the Buckley household is going to receive a phone call. Would it be Florence who would answer, or would it be one of the...
Oh, it'd be one of the staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll say at about 4:10, 4:15-ish, Florence, you are awoken by one of your handmaidens who will... Miss Buckley, excuse me, are you awake?
Well, I am now. What is it?
We have received a call from the hospital. Apparently, your associate, Jasper, has been injured.
Which hospital?
Western Memorial.
All right, thank you. I'll get... wake the doctor up.
Of course. She does leave, and she will go around and deliver the same message to you, Mr. Washington.
Jasper has been hurt.
That seems to be the case.
I will do what I can. I'm going to go to Florence's room and politely knock.
During that time, she has thrown on her dress, and she says, come in, and she's putting on her stockings and her shoes.
Florence,
Yes.
I believe we are going to the hospital again.
Yes.
Can I? Oh, I was gonna ask you a question, but sorry, I just woke up. My brain is not working quite well. Um, should we alert the others? Should I have the servants call our other compatriots?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
of course.
I'll also have someone make us a pot of coffee before we head out.
Oh, thank God. And I do that, keeper.
Yeah. And once Florence gets her stockings and shoes on, she'll go downstairs and ask one of the servants to make a pot of coffee.
Okay. And your messages are received. You are both informed that they were able to send the message to Ricardo, but Charlie did not respond, did not answer.
Well, Charlie with that job might keep odd hours. I don't want to overreact. Might be a heavy sleeper, too. I suppose the hospital is... By the way, this coffee is marvelous. I'm used to just that bitter black swill that you...
Yeah, no, we're not drinking that here.
Yeah, thank God. That's why I was flinching before I sipped it, just instinctively. Almost covering up. To the... Can I have this in a canister? Thank you.
And
We go.
Florence will, yeah, she'll nod to the servant to get a thermos, basically, of coffee for the doctor. And she'll go out into the hall and get her fur overcoat and her gloves and hat and everything on and say, all right, let's get moving.
I feel so underdressed.
Nah.
Ricardo, would you want to meet them at the hospital, or would you have requested to be picked up?
I'd probably just meet him at the hospital. We're all in a hurry to go see and make sure that Jasper is not dead.
All right. So, you all are able to make your way to the hospital. It is a very chilly night, made worse so by the state of recent slumber. But you do arrive and you find the hospital is surprisingly busy for 4 in the morning. And you quickly realize that it is because there are a group of police officers. And they all are not officially congregating near a particular room, but they all seem to share shifts to the bathroom that awkwardly make it so there's at least one of them walking along that particular hallway at all times. Is there anything you all wish to do before you speak to a receptionist?
Can I do a spot hidden check? I'm not like scanning them for like anything that they're necessarily hiding on their body, but I'm looking for maybe psychology. I'm looking for facial tics or something to give away their motivations and or state of mind.
Yes, that would be psychology, and you may do so.
I
Not
would
even
like to
close.
do a listen roll to see if I can hear the officer saying anything.
All right, make me a listen roll. Pick up. So you take a moment and you see when the larger of the trio does his walk, the other two begin to converse amongst themselves. And you pick up we're supposed to just keep them out of the area. As far as I know, they didn't seem to be causing too much of a problem, of course. Gunshots in the middle of the night was rather extreme. It's going to be hard to keep that out of the press if we don't get a move on. Then the other one goes, I mean, I understand that, but are you going to tell the captain that we left to go and preempt some journalists from getting the 3rd page of the paper about gunshots in Harlem? And the two of them seem to bicker back and forth about it for a few minutes.
Florence will approach the receptionist.
And she seems to be a woman in her maybe mid-50s, from what you can tell, maybe late 50s, a little hard to be sure. She looks up at you. Hello.
I would say good morning, but it seems like you're awfully busy this morning.
Yes, it appears so. I assume you're here to visit someone?
Yes, Mr. Jasper Mendoza.
Oh, they are very popular this morning. Are you relatives?
Friends. Next,
All right.
basically, we were contacted by the hospital. Obviously, we're emergency contacts.
Of course, of course. Well, please wait here. I will see if they're awake and if they're ready for visitors. And she
Thank
does. She does leave, and you see she goes into the room that seems to be being watched by the police. Jasper, can you do me a favor and make a Constitution roll and see how well you're recovering?
Sure. Let's roll that Constitution. I'm going to spend some luck points to make that a success.
is a very precious resource. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. So you have had the knife that had been kind of tight in the middle of your chest removed. You did receive an update from the hospital, and you were told that it was a very odd knife, Jasper. It was designed so that way if you were to remove it without proper care, it would cause worse damage. But thankfully, the hospital was able to take care of it for you, and you feel pretty bad, but you think you'll recover. And you look up as the nurse steps into the room. Hello, Mr. Mendoza, are you willing to receive guests at this hour?
If by guests you mean the cops that have been walking back and forth, no.
They have been insistent, but it is a small group. A very well-dressed woman. The hospital contacted them at your behest.
Ah, yes, if it is Florence and the others, let them in, that's fine.
I will confirm. And she does return, and she does get your names, and we'll say, Ricardo, you could have arrived at this time as well. You all can go in and see them, though do be careful to keep a calming atmosphere. They are recovering well, but their injuries were rather significant from what I'm told.
Thank you.
Yes. Could I have the name of her primary physician here? Or their primary physician here, sorry.
Yes, give me one moment. And you see she reaches beneath the table and pulls out a small card. It's Dr. Adams. I believe he is either on his way home or finishing up the post-surgery report.
Very good. Well, whoever the attending doctor is now, not that I'd ever step on anyone's toes, but it is proper procedure and protocol for there to be not a crowding of a victim, and then my eyes slowly drift to the police officers. Just a thought,
Yes.
of course. Could I make a charm roll to see if I can get this receptionist to, obviously they're not going to try to herd the officers off, but try to get that ball in motion?
Yes, you can make either a charm or persuade roll. See what you get.
Could I push it?
Sure.
Push it real good.
Extreme success.
Hell yeah.
Yes, well, I will do what I can. They seem to be rather insistent. They officially have not charged your friend with any problems, but they are staying out of an abundance of caution. But I can ensure that they at least won't bother you for the next few hours, at least until the morning.
Thank you. It's just best for recuperation.
Of course.
Madam Buckley, after you.
And Florence will head into the room.
Okay. And as you enter, the nurse does close the door behind you.
Jasper?
Hello, I'm glad you're here.
What happened? And Florence will approach the bedside.
I was not very careful. I wanted to walk around, try to live Action Jackson's last days, and unfortunately, I was not paying attention, and I was attacked. As you can see, I'm alive, and I believe they are not. So
One of the ones that killed him.
Keeper, is it one of the ones that we saw that killed him, or is it a different person?
Make me a perception, not perception. Make me a spot hidden. See if you remember.
Okay.
Or you could do intelligence. I would say either one of those.
I will do intelligence.
Okay.
Both of them fail anyway, so both don't count.
That's okay. You just came out. You just had surgery, so you might be a little groggy.
Uh, I do not know. I would not be surprised if it was them.
Yeah. Okay. You were down in Harlem?
Yeah. I was not paying attention. But, I'm alive.
That's good to know. I'm glad that you survived and that they took good care of you here.
Yeah, I don't like the presence of the cops because cops make me jittery, especially the ones
I heard
in
them mention gunshots. You shot.
Yeah, I shot the guy 4 times until he would not move anymore. I
Did he
did try
have-
to talk to him first, but he was not amenable to my charms, I should say. And so he met the end of my gun.
Did he seem to have superhuman prowess? Did you just shoot him in non-vital areas?
I don't remember, Keeper. I'm pretty sure I was trying to shoot him so that he would stop trying to attack me and to also like talk to him, but he just
Yes,
kept.
you do recall that they did not seem to be overly concerned with the pain or the fear of being shot. You don't know why.
They did not seem to be bothered by the gunshots. And I did put a lot in those shots, so
She looks to Ricardo, Florence does, and says, was there something in that book that we read by Jackson about the cults that mentioned that?
The player doesn't remember, but does Ricardo
Is there something
remember?
that can be rolled?
Can I roll something?
Of course, you can make, let's say, either an occult roll or, let's also say, occult, intelligence, or history. So this will fall
Okay.
into all 3 of those.
Let's see.
I would like to assist with that.
Okay.
Let's do.
I will say you can have a bonus die.
Okay, so roll 2 die then, or
Just
hit
when
the
you
bo-
roll it,
you
hit the bonus.
hit the
at the
bonus.
hit the bonus at the bottom.
oh, okay, cool. We'll do a cult, and we'll do bonus.
Nice,
Which
it's
is the-
45.
Okay, that is like 45. You would need a 44 to get the hard success.
Want to
So
spend
we'll
one
say-
luck?
I can spend the luck. How are you guys getting 45? I'm seeing 95
Because your
versus
bonus
80.
die was a 4, it changes the 9 and the 95
Yeah.
to a 4.
Oh,
Yes, that is.
Well,
that
that's
is how
really
it
really
switches
nice.
to tens place.
Damn. Okay.
So from what you recall reading, there were reports of occult using drugs and other things to kind of whip people up into a frenzy of action. You've also, I would say, with your knowledge and experience, you've also heard of this in other historical contexts where people will ingest one thing or another to make it so they aren't afraid or will be less likely to hesitate before doing things.
Okay, I'll share that with, Florence, because obviously there's no reason for Ricardo to be like,
Yeah. Well, I definitely think your wandering led you straight to the hornet's nest, Jasper.
I would say I regret it, but if it was one of the people that killed Jackson, I'm glad that I took him down.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Jasper,
Ah, Ezekiel.
may I
Doc-
approach?
How are you feeling?
May I approach Jasper? He says coyly.
Of course. Of course. It seems that we have traded places. Well, it seems that I am now the one that is in the hospital bed.
I love your
Are
clumsy way
you?
with words. I sit down next to Jasper and I take their hand and I say, let's just rest. And then, because Ezekiel doesn't have a lot of background knowledge like directly with the occultists, he just asks. So there's something they might be taking something or doing something that gives them greater stamina and pain reduction. Is that?
Possibly, or just gets them to where it numbs their senses.
Hmm. I'm going to reflect. Keeper, could I make? I'm painfully familiar with Elias's writings. I've read everything. I don't know if I probably didn't travel with any of his books or anything like that. Can I do a some type of roll to see if I can recall more, whether that's library use or intelligence check or anything, or would it maybe even medicinal, like a medicine check, or I have pharmacy, biology, just try to piece together how that might be possible. I know I'm
I
asking a broad
would
question.
I would say without more information, you wouldn't be able to figure out exactly what the person did.
Hmm.
I would say you'd be aware, just through experience, that there are different drugs that can accomplish similar effects. So you wouldn't know of any way of determining which one they use without more specific information.
Okay. Okay.
Would I know where they brought that cultist,
That is a
at least
good
the body?
question,
If
bro.
it was a matter of paying attention, Jasper would be trying to pay attention on, like, or at least try to figure out where the body is kept.
Roll me an intelligence check to see if you were aware enough to notice.
It was a hard success.
Yes, you do recall, as the police were taking you away, they should have taken it to the medical examiner's office. And I
Um,
would say you may have overheard, I'll say with a hard success, you would have overheard that his name is a Dr. Lemming.
I share that to the group. Um,
Mm.
Oh, Dr. Lemming, he's also the one, and she looks to Dr. Washington and says, he's also the one that did the examination of the murder victims, like Mr. Elias.
Interesting. I gingerly pull my hand from Jasper. I'll take out a little notebook and I say, so I could meet with him. Madam Buckley. I do like calling you Madam Buckley because they're so fancy. But Florence, um, what precisely would you like me to inquire with Dr. Lemmings? I don't know the man.
Well, you're a medical professional, and you can speak with him regarding his findings on the murder victims.
Okay. Is there anything else that you might? Because I've been, as you know, a bit out of the loop. I lost the fight with gravity, he says as he gingerly rubs his ribs.
I want to know about the man I killed. Any weird things that pop out of it that that Dr. Lemmings might.
I'm horrified that you said pop out of it, but contextually
Eh,
speaking, that does make sense with what you have all experienced, the slug and all.
And she looks at Jasper, and did he stab you?
did yes, and then I pointed the wound where he stabbed me.
Do you care
My
if I'm
gosh, what did he use?
Apparently, it was a knife. It was a knife that I had the presence of mind not to rip out, uh, because it was meant for uh real harm if I had pulled it out.
Mm.
keeper?
nasty business, that.
Can I do any type of medicine check or first aid check to try to glean any more knowledge from this?
Sure. Roll me medicine.
All right. This is something I'm actually good at. Theoretically, of course. A success.
Okay. It is hard to see properly since it's already been bandaged up. But through kind of a preliminary check, you definitely agree with what Jasper described. You have heard of wounds caused by blades that are designed to hurt more when you remove them, especially things like arrows and some bullets, I would say. You don't know specifically what weapon would have caused this wound, but you can tell it was designed more to hurt than to kill.
I see. So could I score that away as almost thinking of it as like a torture device?
I would say that would be a fair assumption.
Okay. It's a jagged blade by my estimation, almost something more designed for torture than flat out murder, although obviously it could be quite lethal. Oh my Jasper. I will not stand. I will not stand for
Then
this.
sit.
I am already sitting, Jasper.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
have horrible powers of deduction. You're just incredibly atrocious. Give me your hand. I'll give you some of my powers. I will, at this point, try to make an appointment with Dr. Lemmings. And where should we meet back? What time should we meet back? Feels like we should have our ducks in the order, especially since Charlie is not with us.
Well, I will be here,
Yes.
recuperating.
Well, shit, now my powers of deduction have also yielded.
I think I'm going to call upon Carlyle's sister. Find out more about the expedition. Is there anything you feel you need to look into, Ricardo, or would you like to stay with Jasper? You're muted.
Your mic's muted.
Whoopsie. Rookie mistake. I'd like to go see, I guess. Is it possible to try and maybe go, I don't know if the police station would have any information, or like to try to find more information on this cult that's here that Jasper interacted with. I know that we got some, but I'd like more, and I don't know if it's possible, if there have been any like more additional kind of like live interactions recently within the city. Maybe there's other cases, things of that nature that might help shed light on things.
You're asking the keeper, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I thought that was what Ricardo wanted to do. What you have learned? I would
Florence
say
can tell me too. Florence said yes, everything is available. Go get it. Okay. Cool.
Make an intelligence roll to see if you've heard anything new.
Chat, you just figured it out. Florence is actually the keeper.
No,
The
I'm
big
not.
secret.
Not taking on that mantle.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
fucking with
All right. So intelligence, right?
Yep.
All right. Hard success.
All right. So you've looked into most of the historical record on this cult. You don't know for sure if the police would be available to tell you more, but you do know that would involve going into the 14th and likely speaking with Captain Roberson. You have heard a good deal of information about this person, which I would say you would be able to assume it may not be safe to do so, but it may hold the information you want. You have also heard word of the Juju house and associated with this cult before, and a Mr. Silas and Kwane. But I would say you have probably exhausted everything you could think of about the cult outside of directly going and searching Harlem for it.
Okay. You said you said I feel like it may not be safe to go talk to the police captain.
Yes, you all have heard by now that there are people who think that Mr. Roberson or Captain Roberson is involved in some way. You don't know if that is true or not, but you have heard that rumor. So it may be perfectly fine to go. It may not. You don't know.
Well, you know, Jasper's, laid up here. We got to get to the bottom of this. Ricardo's going to go try to talk to the police captain.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, and if not, oh well. It was nice knowing you.
And that's how Ricardo got a nice new pair of cement shoes.
Just make sure to do so in a time where they can't at least immediately get rid of them. Maybe I am a bit naive, but in my mind's eye, I view the Buckley Manor as one of the last safe places for us in the area. And if we can all get back to there each and every night, I think we'll be fine.
And I'm fine with that.
Well, thank goodness. Because it was either that or back to the fire escape.
No, we're not doing that.
Thank God. I don't think I could actually beat gravity. And as I start to wink at you, and then halfway through the wink, I just go, my ribs still hurt. I must not laugh. And I get up slowly and I pat Jasper's hand and I say, we shall meet again. And I shall tend to that scar on your chest. And at Keeper, I will make my way to try to find this Dr. Lemming.
Okay.
Or Lemmings, whatever his name might be.
I would say you all would be aware. The medical examiner is probably not seeing anybody at 4 a.m.
No, we'll have to kill some time.
Yes. So.
Oh yeah, not going to see definitely not going to see the police captain at 4 a.m.
Just like I'm not calling on Carlyle's sister at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Keeper, can I camp out outside of his office and nurse my coffee?
Sure. Okay. So it sounds like Mr. Washington is going to go and visit Dr. Lemmings early, which is perfectly interesting. Florence and Ricardo, are you also going to camp outside of people's homes?
No, Florence will return back home and wait for an appropriate hour to call to the Carlyle residence to see if she can pay a visit.
For the record, I'm outside of his office, not his home.
No,
I'm not,
exactly.
Yeah.
No. Florence isn't like a stalker.
Very efficient.
I'm a man on a mission.
It is certainly an efficient use of time, but it's all right. We all have different ways of solving our problems.
I mean, you gotta rest sometimes, right? Going in there all exhausted and half.
Yeah, I mean, Florence might actually take a little nap to get a couple more hours sleep. So yeah.
Yeah, and Ricardo's gonna rest, I think, too, until a normal hour to go by and see a police captain, or even maybe try. And I like Florence's idea of calling first to make sure they're actually available.
Oh, he'll be available. What about Ezekiel Washington?
All right. So we will skip ahead a few hours. We'll say it'll be about 10 a.m. before you all start to be active and start taking care of things. And since Mr. Washington was very, let's say, ambitious about his goals, we'll start with him. So first, can I have a luck roll, please?
I don't want to.
Well, I'm afraid it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you're right. 13, hard success.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, you are there waiting bright and early as two people make their way down the snowy sidewalk. One you recognize as an older gentleman. The other one is a woman who looks to be maybe in her early 30s. You can't quite tell. And as they see you, it's the woman who looks at you while the man continues to the door. Excuse me, I don't believe the doctor had any meeting scheduled this early in the morning.
This is true. I am Dr. Ezekiel Washington, and I would not be here so early in the morning if it were not the most pressing of all pressed circumstances. I apologize for any inconvenience that I might cause you, but as a fellow professional and as learned men and women in this setting, I had to be here as early as I could. Might I please come in? I won't take up too much of your time. And could I please charm her or make a charm roll?
Sure.
I would like to push. Because that's a lot of luck to
Very daring
spend.
today, but go for it. You may push.
Success.
Okay. All right. Well, fortunately, the doctor wasn't busy first thing in the morning. I'm sure we will be able to clear out maybe 30 or 40 minutes for you. Please follow me.
Thank you. You are most magnanimous, and your kindness will not be forgotten. What was your name again?
Cindy.
Cindy. I'm Ezekiel. Please call me Zeke.
Oh, right. Sure. I would offer you coffee, but it does not. It'll be a
I've
little
brought my
while
own.
before.
I've brought my own.
Very well prepared.
Yes.
And she does lead you inside. You can see it is definitely a medical examiner's office. The walls are this kind of almost depressing white color. There is a simple desk to one side, and then there's a hallway that leads further into the building. There is a kind of a brief chill as you enter. You believe the air conditioning system may be on, despite the weather outside. If you'll just wait here a moment, I will go ahead and clear things with the doctor.
Thank you so much. And as she leaves, could I make a spot hidden check? Because I am always on the lookout for fuckery.
Oh, roll that for me.
Nope.
You are unable to notice anything of interest. So, as you are left waiting, it is we'll say it's a silent time. Not quite eerie, but that kind of being the first to arrive at a business before it's really fully up and running. And you do see the woman disappear down a hallway just at the base before you get to the stairs. And there is a brief conversation. You can barely make out the sounds, not the words behind from the doorway. Before she returns and she gestures to you to come forward.
Could I have done a listen check?
You can
To
go for
try
it.
to make it.
Of course.
Okay. Sorry, I'm fighting with my roll 20. Nope. I failed.
Unable to hear. Too far away. But as she gestures you forward, right, you have 45 minutes before the doctor needs to get back to work. I do hope you will be reasonable and respectful.
Of course. I am but a kind young gentleman from the Midwest. There is no disrespect nor rancor in my body. Thank you, Cindy. I will
She
walk into
steps
his
past
office.
you. As you enter, you see a small, pale, balding man His clothing calls to mind the absent-minded academic. Though you do notice the cuffs of his shirt are covered in what looks to be old ink and dust stains. And he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, you must be Zeke, I believe. You've
Ezekiel
come."
Washington. You may call me Zeke. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Of course, of course. Well, please take a seat. And you do see the office is a bit scattered. There is a desk that is against one wall, but it is piled high with notebooks, folders, leather-bound journals, things like that. The floor is covered further in different stacks of papers. There is a single chair close to the door. Is there something that I could help you with?
Yes, I am here so early so I could get out of your way. I had a couple lines of inquiry. The first of which is I've been told that you are the medical examiner in charge of um, the murder victims, and I start giving him like talking about um, uh, I'm struggling for my character knows, and the player is struggling for his words. But the murder victims involved with the case, and um, just in general, if there's anything in particular that you could tell me about them, any interesting things that you found.
Well, and he reaches into. You see him begin to reach into his jacket and kind of wrap his fingers around something before he. Much too early. Well, I will tell you much the same as I've told the police. My working theory is that the strange mark on the victim's head, the ghastly business, but it is reminiscent of an African death cult, or more likely to be the work of someone trying to impersonate them. I'm sure you've read the Penny Dreadfuls of stories of killers who take a fancy to myth and the like.
I I do. I am familiar with those. Part of my familiarity is I was dear friends with Elias Jackson. Were you the medical examiner on his case as well?
I I did, yes. It was unpleasant business, of course, but similar to the others.
Keeper, I want to see. Can I do a psychology check to see how trustworthy he is?
Sure.
Success. Hey.
Looking at him and the way he's been kind of carrying himself, you do believe he's telling you the truth, but there is a kind of interest in the stories and the things that he's sharing with you, almost like that of a hobbyist, someone who is familiar with ghastly work, but takes a kind of not quite pleasure, but a curiosity in it.
Almost like an intellectual voyeurism.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to try to use that to my advantage. You see, I am not an esteemed examiner such as yourself, and I'm not, my career is budding. And I did pick up the profession so that I might help people. I'm a surgeon by trade, but I find it's morbid, but there is something exhilarating, something that just kind of latches on to me when I see things like this and the cases and whatnot. And obviously it's that much more morbid and dark when it's your friend that the fate has befallen. But you strike me as a shrewd man. Surely there's something more you could tell me. And I'm trying to charm him or persuade him and leverage the enthusiasm that he has.
Well, yes, of course, of course. You're a shrewd observer. Um, well, I have been looking into the subject a bit. Naturally, The individual the police have investigated, have arrested, is obviously not the correct man, or rather, they have another person. I don't know how familiar you are with African curios and fetishes, but I do have a person who has provided me with a number of items and trinkets over the years at a rather reasonable price, mind you. They may know a bit more about who would be likely to do such a thing.
Interesting. What is their name?
Yes, this is Silas Nkwane. They own the Juju House. It is a cozy little shop, very decorated in all kinds of unique things.
Interesting. I will have to pay them a bit. Could you, and I do hate to ask a favor of you, but I've heard that the Juju House is very busy. Could you call him and put in a good word for me? That I'm a like-minded man.
Roll a charm or persuade roll.
We're gonna go with charm. Oh, I'm scared to push it, and I don't want to spend the 20 luck.
Oh, push it, push it, push it.
All right. I fold. I'll push it.
Now,
I
less
clicked the
left to
button.
spend.
I pushed the button. I'm accountable.
I can definitely let them know you're interested in purchasing some things. I'm afraid I'm not very good as a judge of character or good enough to vouch, as people
You've
would
just
one
met
would
me.
say.
I understand. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You can't fault me for trying. Though. It's just these circles are so gatekeep it, and I do have one other line of inquiry, and I do appreciate your time. And as I'm saying that and kind of stalling, you had mentioned that he's reaching into his jacket and he was wrapping his fingers on something. Could I now reasonably believe that it was like one of those curios or fetishes that you were referring to?
It's possible. You can't see
Okay.
it from the angle that you're sitting at, but you can tell there was something inside the pocket of his jacket.
Do you happen to have anything on you that you've gotten from the Juju house?
Well, I keep most of those are in my personal apartment, but um, I may be able to have something sent to you later if that would be amenable. If you gave me an address where you could be found.
Oh, of course. Well, am. I do write down. No, I don't do that because I'm worried about giving. I don't want any trace from me to Buckley, and I don't know how well guarded Buckley's address is, so he's going to be kind of guarded in that matter. But yes, I will. At the end of the conversation, absolutely. Thank you. You're so kind. Um, Now, my other line of inquiry, um, and I sit back and I'm looking for my notes. What was the other thing? It was something to do with
The guy that attacked
Jasper.
Jasper.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to? There is a big hubbub about, and there's about a shooting victim and a stab victim, and that body might have come in this morning. It's all the chatter, all the gossip. Have you had a chance to look at their body?
Oh, not with much detail, I'm afraid. It was rather late, or was early in the morning, but yes, it was brought and is currently awaiting a proper review below. I don't recall seeing any symbol carved upon their foreheads when they were brought in.
Yes. Could I, as I'm trying to move into your field, could I watch you work on that body, good doctor? It's relevant to our occult interests, so to speak. And because you've only done the cursor examinations, it would be so interesting to watch a master such as yourself work. It would be both academic, and I point to some of his journals or whatnot, and interesting for the two of us. And I do the thing, I lean in, I'm building a sense of collegialness.
You can make either a charm or a persuade roll, but you're going to need a hard success for this.
Let's see. Let's do charm. How much do I need to spend to make that a hard success?
You would need a 32, I believe. Let me use the pick.
Okay.
Yeah, it would need to be half, so we'll say 32.
So I'd have to spend
25.
Yeah.
26 points, yeah. 26.
26
points.
Is
I'm at
pricey.
48.
Worth it.
Fuck it. You gotta spend money to make money. I think they said that in the Bible. Let's go. I'll spend it.
Definitely.
Your knowledge of theology may needs a little bit of work. But you see him consider it for a moment before kind of looking at the door behind you, and he goes, well, it is a bit improper, but I suppose for a teaching moment, there's truly nothing better than experience. You may accompany me.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Do you prefer me to call you Dr. Lemmings by your first name? I want to show the respect to your station.
Doctor is fine. It's enough.
In my head, I think, oh, he's giving me the cold shoulder, but he likes me. I'll crack him.
All right. Well, it's the doctor and Mr. Washington get together and conduct an interesting autopsy. We are going to return to the Buckley estate and to see how a call to Miss Erica Carlyle is going.
Mm-hmm. Do I need to roll something?
Well, first, how are you getting in contact with Erica? Are you trying to call her estate directly? Or are you using an intermediary?
I'm going to call the operator and ask to be connected to the Carlyle estate, because that's how you did it in the 1920s.
Okay. In that case, you can make either a credit rating roll or a persuade roll.
Ooh, let's see which one. Credit rating. That's a hard success.
Okay. It is. You are left waiting for less than 5 minutes before you are connected. The voice that replies is a man's voice. Yes, hello? Hello?
Yes, this is the Carlyle residence.
It is. Can
Yes.
I help?
I'm Florence Buckley, and I would like to request a appointment to visit with Miss Erica Carlyle.
Of course, of course. Can I ask what is the nature of this visit?
Her brother's expedition.
I see. I had not been aware that such topics were of interest to you. May I ask why?
Oh, well, I had a grand old adventure in Peru and met a gentleman that became a dear friend that was interested in it, but he's recently met an untimely end, so I just had some questions for Erica.
All right, I will see if I can arrange a meeting for later this afternoon.
Thank you.
Of course.
You can ring me back, and she gives the number.
I will do so as soon as I can. And he
I
will wait for
appreciate your
you.
assistance, and I disconnect.
Okay. All right. Are you doing anything while waiting to hear back?
I I'm just reviewing all the notes and clippings and things like that related to the expedition before I go talk to her.
Okay. And we'll say it's about 11:30 when you do receive a call in return that does inform you that she will meet you at 1 o'clock.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And she will hang up.
And she does invite you to the Carlyle estate.
Perfect. So Florence will have her lunch and then head over.
Okay. The Carlyle estate is going to take you about half an hour outside of the city, so it will be a bit of a journey for you. If there are any last-minute preparations you wish to conduct, you may do so.
No, it's a social visit. So,
All right.
Yep. She just has some questions regarding one of the murder victims seeming to be similar to one of the companions of her brother. So,
All right. So, as you arrive, you find a very well taken care of estate. No lesser in status to your own. There is a small guard present standing at the entrance gate, but they do let you in without much issue. And you are led through the main doorways into what looks to be a study. And inside you see two people. Descriptions. The first is a beautiful woman, though she seems to give off more of an air of intimidation rather than, let's say, beauty. Her skin seems to be very well cared for, clothing very fashionable, designed to project power. Excuse me one moment, my eye. The second is a man slightly taller than her, wearing a very nice pressed business suit. You notice that he is standing while she is sitting. And as you enter, he looks at you and he goes, "Yes, this is Miss Buckley of the Buckleys. They wish to speak with you about the Carlyle expedition. It goes without saying that it would be in the best interest of everyone that our conversations are confidential. It would not do to bring such attention after things have finally calmed down."
agreed.
Yes, so what can I do for you? You mentioned a friend that had a untimely end.
Florence says, "May I take a seat, please?"
Of course.
Thank you. And she sits down and sets her bag down and takes off her fur stole and says, "Miss Carlyle, I appreciate you making time to speak with me. My friend, Elias Jackson, I met him in Peru. He was very interested in your brother's expedition. Are you familiar with him?"
I have, through reputation. He is quite the writer, from what I'm told. I believe my brother once held some of his books.
He's also was quite the adventurer, but he's recently been murdered.
I am sorry for your loss.
I appreciate it. Thank you. The reason I'm here is because looking into things with his murder, one, there's a gentleman that has been wrongfully accused of a series of murders done in the same manner that I'm trying to get released from his false imprisonment so that they can focus on finding the actual murderers. But there was a victim, the first one in this, well, let's be honest, series of serial murders that seemed to resemble, compared to what information I got from my friend, Mr. Elias, to an African woman that was a companion on your brother's expedition.
It is true. My brother did bring a woman with him. Benet, I believe was her name. Though I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with your friend's death. I don't believe they were anywhere near New York at the time. It was my brother's another of his foolish fancies to explore the African continent. Is there something specific you wanted to know about it?
Was she reported to have been massacred with your brother?
I don't know. I don't particularly care. She was never listed on any of the official members of the crew, but it is likely.
You went there. I saw the
did.
newspaper clipping. I am also sorry for your loss. I can't imagine what you went through.
Your words are kind. I will tell you that Roger seemed to behave strangely before leaving on his trips. I warned him his connection to this Benet would be a problem, a scandal waiting to happen, but he began to tell me of odd dreams, things that would cause him to wake up in terror. But of course he refused to tell me much about it. I recommended he visit Dr. Robert Houston. I don't know if he did or not, but Roger did go on the expedition. Roger also told me something odd. He said in passing that Benet was some sort of priestess or queen, and that she had some secret. It's likely that it was all lies designed to swindle more money on something worthless, but here we are.
Well, I am not an expert on African culture, so I'm not sure how they would address such things. But was there anything else?
Not that I recall. No, actually, he did have a habit before leaving of reading a number of old books. I took the opportunity to glance through one of them, and it was frightening.
How so?
It was nonsensical. The images inside were very lifelike, we'll say. Though it did seem to hint at something being in Africa, something related to what Roger seemed to be afraid of. Though I was not a expert on the language it was written in.
Do you still have those books?
Yes.
Could I borrow them, please? I believe somehow the expedition, perhaps the Spinay, is tied to the murders happening now.
Roll me a persuade or charm roll, and you can have a bonus die.
Thank you. That's an 11.
It is indeed. She considers it for a moment. I cannot let you have them, but I can let you read through them. I have not had the opportunity to have an appraiser look at them, and I would be foolish to give away something that could be
Oh,
worth
of course.
something.
And I would not ever expect to keep them. But if you would like, I could get them appraised for you.
It would spare me the need to be seen with such a thing.
I'm a
Very
noted
well.
eccentric, so I'm happy to take care of that for you, dear.
I will lend them to you for 3 days and 3 nights.
All right,
which
and I
would
will have my
appreciate-
appraiser take a look at it for you.
All right. And you see she stands, and she goes to the library's bookcase, and she pulls out a book that you can see is a list of poems from Edgar Allan Poe. And as she goes through them, you see her stop on a page. And as she looks at it, she steps to a different section of the bookcase. And you see her reach for what looks to be like a skull. And as she moves it forward, a shelf is revealed, and she begins to input a combination. And a moment later, she returns with a small collection of leather-bound books. There you are.
Thank you so much, Miss Carlyle. And again, thank you for your time. I will return these with 3 days and 3 nights, and I will also bring a certificate of appraisal with me.
I will look forward to your return.
Appreciate it. And she puts her fur on, grabs her bag, puts the books gently into her bag, and says, "Thank you again for your hospitality and your time." And she will exit. You're muted.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good. I didn't fix it before. As Miss Buckley is returning with her prize, we are going to focus on Ricardo, who has taken it upon himself to visit the local authorities. So, Ricardo, are you doing anything before you arrive at the police station?
I mean, aside from making myself look presentable. Wouldn't want to come in too mussied up. We had a chance to rest, so he's fresh as a daisy. He's ready to get going and see if he can not get potentially thrown in a jail cell that happens to be underwater. But we'll see. As far as preparation goes, I mean, I'm not gonna bring a bunch of stuff with me to be like, this is all the information I've gathered so far on this thing. Because he feels like that would be stupid.
Decisions have consequences.
He'll bring. He's basically just gonna bring kind of minimal stuff. He's gonna have a notepad and a pen or a pencil, and he's gonna come in and he's gonna kind of play a little dumb. And he's gonna kind of be like,
Okay.
"I heard a name," and anyway,
All right.
we'll get into that.
Well,
Yeah.
we will. So, you arrive at the 14th precinct, and you can see now the mood seems to be a bit, we'll say, more upbeat. There are police officers, both plainclothes detectives as well as uniformed officers, who are making their way in and out. The snow is piled high, and it is very chilly. As you enter, you find there is a plainclothes a uniformed officer who is working at the front desk, who looks at you. They seem to be a man, maybe in his early 30s. Can I help you?
Yes, I'm looking to speak with the captain.
Oh, you want to speak with Captain Robeson? Can I ask about why?
Oh, there's been some strange happenings lately, and a friend of mine sent me over to inquire about particular groups and goings on.
Oh, all right. Well, wait here a moment, and he calls over another officer who he has replaced him at the desk. I'll see if he's interested in speaking with what's your name?
Ricardo. Dr. Ricardo.
Ricardo. Oh, doctor. All right. And he leaves, and you see him walking towards the back, where you see there's a door with the foggy style glass with Captain Robeson on it. You are left there for, we'll say, maybe 5 minutes before he returns. Dr. Ricardo, he will speak with you in his office. You've got about half an hour, but you go on in.
Okay, thank you. And just as a side thing, I know it's normally the last name after doctor, but Ricardo likes his first name better, so he goes with that.
Sure. As you enter, can I have you make a credit rating roll, please, Ricardo?
Sure. Yeah, why not? I'm sure this will go well. Oh, catastrophic. Well, not catastrophic, but definitely a failure. Wah, wah, wah. He does not have money for the soda machine.
Unfortunately, it did not work. So you see a tall man seated in his seat, kind of a bit reclined back, slightly messy hair. You can see he's wearing what looks to be a very nice tailored suit with a diamond tie pin. And you can see when he smiles at you, one of his incisors seems to be missing. Hello, you must be the good doctor. How can I help you?
Thank you for taking the time to see me, Captain. I'd run across some unusual activity recently with some friends of mine, and a local reporter, and they thought it might be a good idea to come down and ask you some questions to see if you may be able to help shed any additional light on the subject of strange cult activities in the city, and their possible involvement with some recent unfortunate events.
Well, rumors of cults and whatnot are grossly overstated, I assure you, but I wouldn't mind asking some questions for the public. How can I be of service?
Oh, absolutely. Salacious rumors tend to fly around like wildfire, so I understand. I wouldn't want to waste your time. Uh, but as you know, inquiring minds want to know. I'd like to see if I can get a read on him at all, like just to see if he feels like he's being forthright, or if it seems like maybe I'm picking up some obvious cues of
Sure.
deceptiveness.
Roll me a psychology roll, please.
God damn, I'm gonna spend a little bit of luck on that.
All right.
Let me see if I get a
Looking at
normal
him,
success.
sure.
Yeah.
Looking at him, you think that his attitude, his smile is much more strained. Once you explain what you are here for, though you don't think he doesn't seem to be outwardly hostile.
Well, that would require me to be outwardly rude. So we'll probably maybe try to avoid that. Yeah. So, yeah, there was talk the other day at a local hotel of some interesting figures wearing garb and with symbols on them, I'd gotten word from a local librarian who happened to be I guess an aficionado on these types of things, that said that sounded like the symbol that belonged to some sort of strange African cult, which begs the question of what they might be doing in a city like ours, so far away from Africa.
Well, I assure you that there are crazy people everywhere, and any threats or dangers to the good people of Harlem and all of New York will be dealt with. Um, do you have anything any tips on any of these people your friend mentioned?
I haven't personally tried to look directly into them, as that I'm not the danger seeking type. I try to leave those matters to folks such as yourselves, who are much more accustomed to dealing with criminal elements.
Very, very smart. Well, your worry is noted, and I will be sure to have my men on the lookout for any strange people in weird hats. But there are dangerous elements all over, and we have a responsibility to focus on the threats we can see and are aware of.
Hmm. Yes, that is definitely wise. I would definitely advise anybody to let the authorities handle things. Always much safer that way for everybody involved. Uh, what do you know about? Have you heard about some place that came across my ear, called the Juju House?
Oh, I've heard of it before. It's a small shop of voodoo and all the nonsense. The owner's an elderly man. Not much of a problem.
Oh, that's good. I figured maybe some of the rumors about him potentially being having some sort of connection were grossly overblown. You know how people can be sometimes.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if it were some rival businesses trying to harm a good man's reputation, but I assure you that requires a bit more than rumors before we will start going and overturning problems.
Yeah, let's do another read, because I want to, because yeah,
We're gonna roll a bullshit check.
we're trying to
may.
walk that fine line of like not letting him know that I know he
Yeah.
knows we know.
You may make the roll if you would like.
You want to do psychology or
Yep, psychology.
okay? Success.
With a regular success, I would say you can tell that he has much less interest in talking about the Juju House, though you can't tell if it is based on kind of a dismissive attitude to, what it's selling, or if he just doesn't want to talk about the business itself.
That's fair. He seems a little bit obviously he's got to play the political angle too as a captain. So he can't be doing like, oh yeah, I told that place is crazy. Oh my god. I saw somebody come in there with these weird looking chicken things. It was nuts. I was like, who would get that? That's got to be something bad going on. No, of course he's not going to do that. Okay, well, I will go let them. I will go I will go let my friends know that things seem to be very much under control by the good police of our city, and that there's nothing for them to worry about. If anything, it was probably just some hooligans that were trying to dress up and hide their identities anyway. You know how people can be.
Well, if you wouldn't mind sharing your friend's information, I can send someone over to get a more first-hand account on what may have been, what these rumors are about?
Oh, they probably already have it. I believe one of them got stabbed. Or so I heard.
I see. Well, thank you for your information, and we will be sure that your friends are taken care of.
It's good talking to you, Captain. I hope I didn't waste too much of your time. Have a good day.
Of course, please be careful. Harlem can be a very dangerous place after dark.
Oh, indeed. I am much more accustomed to staying indoors. I wouldn't want to get caught up in the outside troubles. Far too many scandalous actors roaming around at night for me.
All right. And with that, I think 3 avenues of investigation have been looked into, which I believe makes this a wonderful opportunity for us to take a break. So, we will come back in about 15 minutes to discover just what happens next and to see if our investigators are ready to handle it.
Done. Done.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign. And we're going to dive right back into it because I think our investigators have gained some interesting information. So, as the 4 of you are reconvening in Florence's home, I will say your servants have prepared a late lunch for you all to enjoy. But I'll leave the scene to the 4 of you. What would you like to do?
You said they're preparing lunch, so we're waiting.
So we can
Okay.
talk while we're waiting on the food, or while we're eating.
So, Florence, did you find anything interesting?
Yeah, the African woman that traveled with Carlyle on the expedition was supposedly a priestess or a queen or something. Her name was Benet. And his sister didn't know for certain if she was also massacred with the expedition or not. So it is possible that first victim was her.
Interesting.
Also, she said her brother was reading some very strange books, and I happened to have borrowed them for 3 days and nights, and I've promised to get them appraised for her. So that way we can look over them to see what her brother was reading before he went on his expedition.
I like your thinking. That's a excellent ploy.
And she will actually set the books on the table.
Oh wow, that was very impressive. Was there anything I should roll, Keeper, to, I want to say, just like at a glance recognize the quality
So,
or
I will
authenticity?
say, I will give you all this information because you can see them. It is a total of 4 books. 3 of them have covers written with English language on it. The 4th is French. The first book is called the Narcotic Manuscripts, and I will spell that for you because I'm not entirely sure I pronounced it right.
I thought you said narcotic. And I was like, okay,
No.
cool.
That would be much more. That'd probably be safer. And it is embossed in red leather with a binding. It's bound in red leather, embossed red leather. You can make a history roll if you want to see if you can determine how old it is. The second one, the French one, is bound in what looks to be decaying blue calf skin. It is both kind of falling apart, but also has this kind of weird texture to it. And that's the French one called Selections des Livres de Yvonne.
Shh, shh.
I have
Help
offended.
somebody who speaks French, because I sure don't.
Listen, I'm trying not to offend like the one French person watching this stream.
It's okay.
And
I'm
the
sure they
second-
understand. You tried.
The second is called Amongst the Stones, and it is bound in something that looks like leather, though it doesn't seem to be from any creature or any animal you all would recognize. And then the last one is called Life as a God. And I would need for all of you to give me either spot hidden or medicine rolls. As you
Oh, I
look
thought
at
you were
that.
gonna say
Ollie, what was the third one? Before life is a god.
Amongst the stones.
I thought you were gonna say sanity rolls. Sorry, you
No,
looked at
That
the
was
covers.
3 of the books. What was the 4th one? Oh, three.
Life
Only
as
3
a
I'd covered.
God.
Life as a god. Okay. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay.
So
What
just
did you
for
want us to make a roll of?
You can do natural world, medicine, or spot hidden.
I'll do a natural or
I'm gonna do spot hidden.
ooh, success.
Oh, success as well. Oh,
I got a success on spot hidden.
Hell yeah.
You can't be sure, but as you're looking at it, and it's kind of this pale white to beige color, it looks like human skin.
which book was the one that's human skin?
Life as a God.
All right.
Is that what everybody notices who succeeds?
Yeah.
All of you got
Natural or-
successes,
okay.
so you all look at it, and you aren't sure, but it looks awfully like it.
well,
Yeah.
that's terrible. That's
Ricardo
terrible.
kind of like reaches out and goes,
Would you like some gloves?
yes.
Okay. And she'll ask a servant to bring gloves.
I mean, they are old books, right? So we
Yes.
want to get our fingers on them.
Can I do an appraise roll on these?
Go for it.
That's a success.
Just
Just to get a general idea of like age and value kind of thing.
It's difficult. This is not directly your expertise, but
No.
they are all very old, at least 100 years, and they seem like handwritten journals and not mechanically created, so they may be very rare. But as far as Florence knows for its wealth, it could be priceless.
Yeah, we're all going to handle these with care because these could be actually priceless.
Well, I'd imagine there aren't very many books bound in that.
Well, not just that one, all of these.
Hmm.
Because all of these are handwritten, not press made.
Oh,
So
one of a
not
kind, maybe.
not mass produced.
Hmm.
So yeah, these could be priceless.
Very interesting. Now I'm extra eager.
Does anybody here speak French? Because I'm gonna say not it on reading that.
I took some. What do I roll? An intelligence roll for it or something?
It would be under your languages. So, so there should be a language.
No, I
rating,
only
and
have
then-
my own in Latin. I'm sorry, I thought.
Okay.
So I don't have it. No.
Well, I would wait. I would wait until gloves were provided, and I would try and reach out to whichever one that Ricardo isn't picking up first, because I feel like Ricardo is going for life as a god because that's the one that's human.
The flesh
skin.
tome.
I'm gonna go with the narcotic manuscript to read on it.
Sure. As you all are seated there, your servant does return with 5 sets of gloves, just in case, and they're basically the same type you would use for cleaning, so not the most
Basically
expensive
cotton
things
gloves.
ever. But so who is reading a book? If you are reading a book.
Yeah, Ricardo's definitely going to start flipping through and reading the human tome Human flesh tone.
I'll go with Amongst the Stones.
All right.
What book is available for me to read?
French one.
Okay.
Oh,
Y'all can share as well. You know, it's
We can
fine.
totally share.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
I mean, it's all my precious. Yeah,
Not yet. Not yet, at
no,
least.
not yet.
Yeah, if everybody's willing to share, like,
I'll
I was just
We
read
can
thinking it would be
collectively
easier
look at
to-
all the books. We could just
Yeah.
have them spread out, and we all are looking at them.
I would like to read a book with Jasper.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go in order. So we will start with the narcotic manuscript. As you begin to read, you find it is a accounting of a race of beings called the Yith, and
The
it
what?
is telling you the Yith. I will write it for you. It is telling you a rumor, belief, you aren't quite sure, that there is something stored in the western desert of Australia, that there are some records of these people. However, as you both are reading this book, you begin to feel the heat of the desert scorching your skin, and it's almost like the webbed fingers of something reaches out toward you. And I have good news and bad news for you. You both gain 3 to your Cthulhu Mythos rating.
cool.
But you both have to roll me a d8 for sanity loss.
Oh,
V8, you said?
A d8, yes.
that's a lot of sanity loss.
All right, sure.
Oh, boy.
Whatever. Where is that thing? D8. All right. 4.
All right.
Whoa.
So, 7 at once for poor Ezekiel. Now,
Damn.
if I recall, that is enough to cause some insanity, my dear friend.
Oh, yeah. Keeper, would you like to give me direction for my insanity?
Nothing will
Oh,
bring
so
me
scared.
better pleasure in this world, my friend. So, roll me a d10. Let's see what happens to you.
Yeah.
5?
Okay. All right. So, as you are reading this book, this accounting of this race, you feel yourself almost being pulled somewhere else. And you are standing amongst a legion of humanoid creatures, each one seemingly both impossibly small and impossibly large. And as you're staring at them, you can feel something inside of you, as if a hand is reaching for you. And you are filled with despair and terror. The D10.
1d10 coming
Oh,
up.
wonderful. Yeah, I'll roll this D10 for you, my
Okay.
friend. You are filled with terror, and for the next 7, we'll say rounds, you flee. You want to get as far from this book as possible. So,
Okay. I abruptly stand up, scooch out my chair, look back at my fellow investigators.
Dr. Washington? Are you
Ricardo
Your
looks
okay?
up
size
for a
is an
moment.
impossible dichotomy. And then I just take off.
I see.
Ricardo looks over and is like, There's something.
The- I could not explain it. I did feel something, but like the mask, nothing has been revealed to me. So
Right. I will also tell you, Jasper, since you're still reading, it will take you some time to fully study what this book provides. But you
Okay.
do see we'll say, magic. And you have access, though you do not fully understand what it will do, to a spell called Contact Mind of the Observer.
do what? Contact?
Mind of the Observer, yes.
What would you all think if I just use that right now?
No,
I mean,
not
we
in
don't even
Florence's house.
we don't even like we don't actually know.
Don't treat this place like you live here.
We have no idea about this spell that you know of.
This is above table question. Like,
Are you
where-
asking everybody at the table like now? You're like, hey, so I just learned a new spell. Can I cast it?
No.
Like, I want to be a wizard.
I'm asking everybody. I'm like, maybe I should play this. I just learned a spell. I'm gonna cast it. But now may not be a good time for that because we're exploring the other books. But
Yeah. Not in
minute-
Florence's house.
Ricardo looks over and is
By
just
my-
like,
I'm going to cast whoever this observer is and speak with him. It could be Gus. But I will do that later.
Jasper, have you spent much time studying the occult? Are you versed in these types of?
I studied a little bit during our 4 years. I have always felt like something was missing. Everybody seemed to have been able to see something in Peru, and I don't know. I studied a little.
Well, I would urge caution. You know, sometimes these magics, you never know what they may do to you. You know, so it can be very easy for things to go wrong if you're not properly prepared.
I understand.
You need the right mental fortitude for these types of things.
Absolutely. I would not cast this spell.
Are the rest of you still reading?
Yes, Ricardo's going to return to his reading and then eyeball.
Oh, Florence has been engrossed in
yeah.
this book because it's poetry.
Yeah, Jasper's eyeballing.
And she was an English major in college.
As
Jasper's
you
eyeballing the other
begin-
book, but he's continuing to read the Human Flesh Tome.
You begin to read
I will
amongst the
also
stones.
read
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which other books are you trying to read as well,
I'm gonna-
Jasper?
After,
Sure,
as soon as
wonderful.
I'm
Sure,
going to be reading the other two that I can.
noted. All right, Florence. You find amongst the stones, first, as you touch the cover, the binding of the book, even through the gloves, there's this pervasive fear. You aren't sure where it's coming from or why you feel it, but it's almost like a blanket that is settled onto your shoulders.
As she touches the cover and feels that her eyes she kind of squints a little bit and stares at it, and she's like, "And what sort of creature were you?" And then she cracks open the book.
You find it is indeed a list of poems. And as you do a quick look through, you find one of them, something that draws your eyes, is titled The Trappings of a Queen. And it begins to describe a woman, a queen named Nitocris, and the paraphernalia she would wear. And as the book begins to describe it, you can almost swear you are standing before a throne of darkness. A woman who is so alienly beautiful, that it is equal parts terror and equal parts fascinating, seems to look down at you, and you can feel information, knowledge, horror in equal parts. And you may increase your Cthulhu Mythos skill by 1. Then I need you to roll a d3 for me.
Okay, increasing that. And now I will roll a d3. Once I can get my cursor where I need it. Okay.
Right? You lose 2 points of sanity, and you think it'll take you probably a week or so to go through this entire book to learn all of its secrets.
That's not good. She only has 3 days and nights.
Indeed, you do.
Okay, she'll work it out.
Ricardo, as you touch your book, as you touch the cover, you can almost, it's almost like another person is there with you. The shadow of whoever was used to bind this book. And you can feel their terror, their fear, their hesitation. As you begin to read it, you realize first, most of the book is incoherent, incomprehensible. But the few parts that peek out to you, you realize is an accounting of a man named Crumpton, an English artist, who became a minor priest to an organization called the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh. And you may increase your mythos score by 2.
All right.
And roll me a d6.
Oops. Well, of course it's 4.
4 more sanity is lost as you gain more knowledge. So, are you all now exchanging books to be shared?
Florence is going to tell a servant to go get her camera equipment because she is going to take photos of these books because we only have 3 days and nights to hold on to them, and she has to get them appraised in that time as well, but it may take more time to actually fully study these.
All right. Interesting decision.
Ricardo's going to definitely move over to try and go through Jasper's book and saying, like,
And I will also go over the other books.
maybe you can make some sense out of this. This one was a little, there's something about it.
I'll take that one.
It's interesting. Oh, yes, here you go.
And I will get the stones amongst the stones.
Okay. As you once again share books, well, you can each increase your. Well, we'll do it this way. The person who reads amongst the stones can get a +1 and then a d3 of sanity loss. You're exchanging dark books of magic like Pokemon cards.
Of course we are.
This was not how they were intended to be used.
Got to catch them all, right?
All right, so
1.
I believe for that would put you at 5 in 1 a day.
Sure.
Poor Jasper, which I will double check, but I believe
Temporary
yes, you are
insanity.
now. Yes, you, make me an intelligence roll first. See if your mind is able to deal with what you've encountered.
I'm gonna use my luck to make that a success.
All right.
Indubitably.
So
Can I have you roll me another d10, please?
sure.
Mm.
An 8.
For the next 8 hours, Jasper, you are, we'll say, afflicted with a mania. You believe that the Watcher is able to tell you where Gus is. Furthermore, you are convinced after reading this book that this Nitocris may be the person that can bring Gus back to you.
Awesome. I'm doing this for Ricardo. And I will note that in mind.
Okay?
Ricardo,
All right.
believe I have a surprise for you, but I won't tell you too much about it. Don't worry. I'm here, and I'm here to help you. Let me go grab that other book so I can read that book as well.
All right, so whoever is reading Life as a God,
I'm reading
You
that
could-
one now.
all right, increase your mythos rating by 2, and then a d6 of sanity loss.
Okay.
We need to revisit the themes of not knowing too much.
That
Well,
is
that's
6,
cool.
so I've lost a total of 8 right now.
Make me an intelligence roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Succeeded.
Cool. Can I make me another d10, please?
Mm-hmm.
This is the one roll you don't want to succeed on, just, for the fun of it.
5.
Oh,
Roll me another d10. I'll let fate decide what happens to you.
8.
As you are reading this depiction, you are overcome with emotion. You aren't even sure what feeling it is. But for the rest of you, Florence just begins screaming.
Welcome, sister. Welcome to the Screaming Cthulhu gang. Bring it in.
All right.
Okay, well,
All
I
right.
guess.
Am I screaming for 5 hours?
You will be screaming for the next 5 hours.
and
Together.
no voice
We
whatsoever.
all scream together.
Yeah. The servants are like corralling us into a padded room.
I am not screaming. I am like, that's weird. I should read that book. Maybe I'll learn something to find Gus.
Okay, so
What about Sean? Can you find Sean too?
whoever is reading the manuscripts now, which I think is Ricardo? You may increase your mythos score by 3 and roll a d8. Not how we're supposed to do this again.
Well, I mean, Cthulhu Mythos is so rare that you got to take it. Take the
I know,
chance when you
right?
can get it, right?
That is not true. That is not at all true. This is not at all true.
He said D8, right?
Yes, d8.
I've got good luck, so I'm sure I'll win this roll too. Ugh, 5. So that's a total
So
of
it was-
9 sanity loss for today.
Alright, roll an intelligence check as well, please.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see. Boom. Success.
I'm gonna need a new D10 list for sanity at the end of this. Roll me a D10.
All right. I like rolling. It always ends up good. 7.
Alright. So while Florence is screaming, Ricardo faints. Just drops over. It would be unconscious for
He's
the
like,
next
huh.
7 hours.
Okay. Well, I guess we're
You're
done
just like-
looking at books now.
This was a very good book. Oh,
I am still here and ready to read the flesh book, please.
I just,
I
just
have.
hear.
If
I can hear. I can hear Elton John in the background right now, as Jasper goes on to read the last book, and you can just hear the faint whisper of "I'm still standing."
Keeper, am I back yet? Because I was gone for 7 rounds. You said.
Sure. I will say roughly 7 rounds would have gotten you probably close to the city. Yeah, probably away from the estate and kind of.
How
you're
fast
not quite,
am I?
Because we're on Long Island. Okay?
Are?
We're on the
Yeah.
north end of
Right.
Long Island.
You've never been terrified. You are like leaving. Long
Okay,
Island.
Keeper, I will be
Because
adjusting my movement
To be
score.
clear, you're fleeing does not mean you ran away. It means you used whatever fastest method available to you to get away.
You hailed a cab.
Or stole Florence's car to get away.
You stole a car.
I committed Grand Theft Auto. I'm just in this fucking Bentley. Just, oh, that's fucking terrible. Fuck those books.
Run, bitch! Get some help.
Oh, damn. I'm a rich ass surgeon. I should do better choices with my fucking life.
What am I doing here? This is
Yeah.
wild.
Fucking, I'm gonna pick up some hookers and prisoners on the way back to this
We
shit.
will say Mr. Washington is on his returning at this point. Without-
Just let me know
Took
when
a
I'm there.
joyride in your
Yeah.
car.
Man, this thing's worth a lot of fucking money.
Everything's fine. It's
So-
fine.
Jasper, since you are choosing to continue, you may
Yeah.
increase your Cthulhu Mythos score by 2, and then roll the d6. I have to recheck what happened if you continue losing sanity while already being insane. I didn't think we'd
I
get
mean,
to this
I'm
point.
at like 65 sanity. I'm fine. 2? You said Cthulhu Mythos?
Yes.
You
Plus
said
2.
roll d6?
Yes.
I lose 5 sanity.
All right, welcome to the club.
Okay. So, I don't even know how much you lost total, but yeah, you're very crazy.
I have 5, and then let me see, 6, and then I lost 10 total.
We're all going to the loony bin.
Okay, well, and what was your maximum total, Jasper?
My
At
maximum
the
total?
time. Yeah, what did you start
that-
today with?
It was 70.
So okay, all right, that's not a fifth. Did anyone lose a fifth of their maximum sanity today?
No.
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so fortunately, you all just insane temporarily. I
So
guess
my-
most of
Just obsessed with
yeah, your sanity. You are still very obsessed. You believe that you have a way to rescue your friend.
I alone now.
I mean, Florence is still screaming, so not really alone.
At this point, her personal maid has brought in a it looks like a teacup, but it's got laudanum in it to force it down her gullet to get her to basically conk the fuck out.
Ricardo is very relaxed right now.
Ricardo is asleep.
Yeah.
And Dr. Washington, is Dr. Washington back?
I'm just gonna say, please don't cast this in Florence's house.
I won't.
We'll say not yet. We'll say at this point, Washington is arriving. We'll say he's arriving.
Park in the
Just-
car that I didn't steal.
I'm gonna go towards Mr. Washington. Ezekiel, I would like to borrow your car.
I borrowed this car. Is that a screaming and choking? Where are our friends?
Well, Ricardo got tired and fell asleep. Florence started screaming like you did.
Yes.
But Florence didn't run away. And now you're
Well-
back. And now I have an idea. I think I told you about my friend Gus, and I feel like reading all these books here, I have decided
slight
figured out-
modification. You all are affected for rounds as well, not hours. I misread your two things.
Oh, so it's
you
rounds.
would not
Oh,
be-
thank fuck.
Yes,
Okay.
it's not hours. Not quite as bad.
I at this point I would say, I need. Actually, there's a question for the keeper. Keeper, I was going to do that autopsy with Dr. Lemmings. Now we came back here, so I presume that's later for today or tomorrow. Is that correct?
I would say you would have been able to watch it during the hours because you arrived about 10, so you would have been
You
able
were
to do
able
it
to be
between
there for
10
that.
and 3.
Okay. Would I have gleaned anything from that? Just because I was thinking, it was something I was going to go do later. Anyway, Jasper, I think we should go help our friends. I have it on good authority that almost nothing makes Florence scream, and Ricardo is a workaholic, so he would not just pass out.
I just want to tell you that I have been traveling with these folks. This is not new. I've heard Florence scream, and I've heard Ricardo. I've seen Ricardo. Whatever.
No.
Jasper, I will do what you want me to do on one condition.
Am I still obsessed with trying to save Gus right now?
Yes,
it's
you are
now.
all still insane. You were just not doing the madness thing, but you are all still not at all sane people.
Ricardo's
Jasper, I'll do
standing up and
anything in the
going,
world
So,
that you
like,
want
you're
me to
not
do.
totally obsessed with that right now.
Okay.
Yes, that is
All
it.
right.
But you are still you still think it is true, but it is more of a nagging idea than an obsession.
All right. Well, I can hold on. I will not do it. I will. Since you asked so nicely, Mr. Washington, I will stay here.
When did I become Mr. Washington? Yesterday, the 2 days before, I was Ezekiel.
Well, which one would you like me to call you?
I am so confused. Jasper, call me what you wish. You hurt me deeply. Let's go help our friends. And I start walking towards, and as I walk into the room, I go, I think I need aspirin. And what do I see when I get back to the book room, wherever it was that we were doing?
I would say once Florence has gotten the laudanum in her, it has settled her nerves. She stops screaming. Now she's setting up her camera equipment to take photos of these books and the pages. So because we only have 3 days and nights to keep them and get them authenticated.
Okay.
And
All
Jasper-
right, that's good.
Florence picked herself back up. You also look like a good friend of mine. Anyway.
Is everyone done reading all of the books?
Ricardo awake yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Ricardo would have woken up right now.
Can I pick up the French book? Just flip through it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up some other books too. Actually, no, I'm not. As much as Ezekiel wants to, he's not going to. He's going to learn from his mistakes.
Well, I'm glad someone is.
I just wanted to be clear. I'm not speed running Jasper's death, but Jasper has not experienced what they would call bad things. So
I get it. But I was just going to say, while you're doing that, Florence will take photos of each page as you flip the pages.
Oh,
So
Because
first,
even if we don't understand French, we might be able to get it translated somewhere else.
see, as you take the pictures, you notice the pages are all blank on the pictures.
Well, I wouldn't know until I developed it. This
They don't
camera
have
isn't
the
instant.
fancy ones?
No.
1920s.
different.
No, we
No.
don't.
Ooh,
Gotta hang that shit up.
Whatever. You don't notice. You didn't hear anything.
Okay.
You didn't know anything. At the time
And that's
is a
going to
flat
suck
circle.
if that's the case.
I don't know. I don't know how
but-
time works.
Yeah.
Is it for
Weird.
It's
all
okay.
just the specific French book?
If we work really hard, we
you
can
don't know.
transcribe the books together.
I'm sure that'll work. So you want to try and read a book that you can't understand.
Mostly
Roll
to
me.
Could like I know French and Spanish and English are like similar words. I'm just trying to like glean something from it.
Okay. Try. Well, roll me a French language roll. Which would be, I believe, if you don't know the language, would be a 1%.
So what do I
Base?
roll? Just 100?
Yeah, just do 100, and you want a 1. When you want a 1.
All right. It's a 42.
If you have 41 points of luck, you could do it.
I've been my luck.
It's true. It's true. Tossing that shit around like ain't no care.
And unfortunately, this final book is beyond you.
Cool. I put it down, and again, nothing bad happens to me. Jasper continues to believe that the world is great.
Oh,
Florence will
okay.
just take she'll take photos of each book, and because she doesn't know what the photos will turn out, she's got to try. And then once she's done taking it, she will spend some time developing to see what comes out. But it'll take some time.
So you should be able to
Okay.
get some of the pictures developed later today.
Mhm.
So that way you know whether or not, well, you might run across the aforementioned potential problems.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, are you
Ricardo's
all
gonna
leaving?
dust himself off and go read the one pointer.
The,
Can't remember the name of it.
amongst
what?
the stones.
The one pointer.
Stoner
amongst, you could read the book of poems, sure. Your mythos score will increase by 1, and you will once again lose another D3 of sanity. However, I will warn you that doing so will cause you to fall into another bout of madness.
Oh, okay.
Immediately.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, he doesn't know that, so
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
he's and since he's already a
sure,
little nuts,
Sure,
he's
go
not
for it.
thinking clearly. He's just like,
Sure.
this looks
He's,
interesting. Why don't I cast a spell or something too?
So the consequences
Lawrence's
of our own
house
actions.
explodes. Oh no!
All right, roll your dice.
2. It's doing real good at getting those high numbers.
I mean, there's only 3 possible numbers. So.
I know. But I always like get right in the middle or like closer to the top.
Ooh, roll me a D100, please.
Very nice. Optimal results. Ooh, 40. Middle child again.
As you are reading this account of this woman, you find yourself pulled to a throne. Only this sense of displeasure, of irritation washes over you. And as you look at your hand, you watch as it begins to age. Almost like 60 years have passed in the blink of an eye. And you look at your other hand, and then the rest of your body has aged. And for the next 3 rounds, you have gerontophobia, the fear of old people and of growing old.
That's some ageist bullshit.
Ricardo just looks at himself and screams. And I imagine, given that he thinks that he is now the thing that he is afraid of, starts acting erratically and like probably running around the room for a short time.
Ricardo, what's wrong? You keep looking at your skin. Are you wounded?
I am so old.
Let me see. I'm a surgeon. I can help.
He looks fine to you. To the
I
rest
see
of you, he seems the same.
Ricardo, I know what the problem is. It's not your hand. Wash your eyes out with cold water. It's the dirt in your eyes that make you see that.
Do I believe him?
I mean,
Like through the madness, like, or does
it
it?
makes sense, sure.
He is a doctor.
Excellent point, Doctor. Excellent point. And
Just
Ricardo
keep
rushes off
washing
to
your.
try.
You have a lot of dirt from when you were on the floor in your eyes.
Ricardo like rushes over to whatever cold
You
water
saying
source he can
Florence's house is
find.
dirty?
I'm giving you solutions, and you can choose to take them
As you
or
attempt
not.
to wash your eyes out, you don't look any different.
He's gonna keep doing it compulsively until like he does feel like he does look different.
Okay. Eventually, the fear is still there. The phobia is still there. But you think you're normal. You aren't sure. But you think you're normal.
Perhaps Ezekiel was right. He is a doctor after all. Ah, well, he's dries himself off and heads back to the room.
Okay. All right. So, there's no more benefits for you other than the short reading of the book. So, is there anything else you all would like to do? That won't
Didn't
get
I
you
learn
killed,
a
hopefully.
Didn't I learn a spell from some book?
I learned
you
to spell.
would
You
have.
did.
You
I
would
figured I
have,
would.
because you would know the spell. Yeah, you would have access to the spell called Contact the Winged One.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I guess everybody, since you all shared the books, would also have access to.
True.
I would say, well, Washington, you didn't read them both, so
I
Florence,
read
you
one
would,
book, and I fucking did.
Florence, you would also know the spell Contact Mind of the Observer. So you all now have magic.
Wait, so I have contact the winged observers?
No, you and Florence got Mind of the Observer, and Ricardo got a Winged One.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What
Okay.
does this spell have any costs associated with it?
You do not know. You guys have only been able to do a cursory read, so you know what the spell is called and vaguely how to cast it, but that's about it.
Okay, got it. Okay, I just added it to my spells.
Contact the Winged One. Is that the actual name of the spell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was looking around for an actual. I'm guessing it's. I'll find it somewhere.
Well, Florence is going to be developing
Mhm.
film, so
A wise choice.
so that's going to
All
be
right,
at least a few. That's probably going to be for the rest of the afternoon into the evening.
Mm-hmm. So Florence is going to take care of developing. What about the other three? This interesting trio.
Good. Yes, good question. I'll start probably casually talking about the visiting the police station and talking to the captain and how he seemed a little off. He didn't admit to anything, but he definitely seemed like he was dancing around questions of the cult and the Juju house. Had to
Well,
be
did he threaten you?
not directly.
But you felt threatened.
He definitely seemed as if he may be willing to do something if I perhaps shared too much or seemed like a threat.
Well, I have good news regarding the Juju house. The Dr. Lemmings is a patron of the house. He buys and collects things from there. And while he couldn't give me a direct reference. He did say that he would call and let them know that I was interested. And since I've spoken to a patron there, we at least have a basic premise to show up and not
Oh,
be as suspicious. He also
interesting.
said that he knew that the man arrested at the Hilton is almost certainly, I mean, he said he was innocent. Um, he linked this back to an African death cult, although he does believe it's likely impersonation, although I don't know what to believe in regards to that. Um, and I did watch the autopsy. I convinced them to let me look at the autopsy of the body, the person that Jasper killed. I did not glean any knowledge from that. Now he gave me the name Silas at the Juju house. And at that moment, I do believe that Lemmings, this is just a personal theory. I think Lemmings doesn't know about the Juju house and what it is or isn't involved in. I think it sets up a decent front, although what it sells is in and of itself bizarre to many people. Just a thought.
Hmm. Well, so when are we due to visit the house?
Well, I was going to bring that up, but then we started reading books that turned me into a coward. So I do apologize for that. And I need to apologize to Florence later. I know she's busy now, but I did steal her car, which I didn't realize I was doing until I was. It's a fast car.
Okay. Well, was it fun at least?
No, I felt. This won't make sense to you, Ricardo, but I felt then the same way that I felt back in time when I was punching a fish. It's a different story for a different time.
Well, all right. I'll take your word for it.
I appreciate you.
I have not punched many fish, so I would not
I
be
don't
able to.
I don't recommend it, my friend.
Was it a spiny fish?
I show him a scar on my knuckle.
Oh
Spiny
no.
enough. You should have
That-
seen the fish, though.
Flashback to a picture of him running away from the fish.
Okay. So, if there are no further goals for this evening, we will skip forward until, let's say, 6 or 7, and I'll say 7 at night, even. Just before you all will be settling down for dinner. Are all 4 of you still in the house?
Yes, Florence has just finished doing the manual work she has to do, and now it's waiting on photos to develop and dry. So,
Okay.
and she's back downstairs. And she looks and says, while dinner's being served and stuff, and she said, I'm sorry, I wanted to deal with that, but I'm not sure anything's going to come out on those pages.
Well, I wouldn't say is your camera broken.
No, my camera works fine. I got
Interesting.
photos of the pages, but the pages appear to be developing blank.
Is it for all of the books? Or
Yes.
just the French one? Oh.
Do you have any like paper and like writing stuff here?
Oh, of course.
What
Or
would
cut-
happen if we copied it down?
Ricardo's going to sit down and try to start like manually, like just writing a page and see what happens. If there was weirdness, was the other thing he figures maybe there'll be potentially weirdness here, or maybe not.
It works. You begin to copy the first paragraph or so, and it seems to work.
Okay, we can spend the next 2.5 days, maybe, of transcribing these. Because I do have to, I'll call tomorrow to get my appraiser to appraise these, because I did promise to do that for Miss Carlyle
Yes.
in exchange for her letting me borrow them. She looks to Dr. Washington. Dr. Washington, how did your day go with the doctor, the examiner?
I'll recount the same things that I told and say it. We have an end. We have a premise to be there, and the only complication that I can see is they might have recognized me from that night, but it was happening fast. It was in the middle of the night. It was the fire escape. And who knows if that cultist will be on hand. It's a gamble. Everything we do here is a gamble. I do apologize. I thought that working to see the autopsy might have gleaned something regarding the descriptions, but it didn't pan out.
That's okay. And she looks and says, Ricardo, how did your talk with the captain go?
Oh, it was interesting. The captain seemed a bit guarded, though he was trying hard to present a face of professionalism. I did get the interesting feeling that he was not super happy about me asking him all these questions, and that he would and if I were to ask the wrong questions, I might not get an outcome that I would be happy with either.
Oh, did he threaten you?
Not directly, but I got the sense that, it was probably best to play it close to the chest.
Do you think he's associated with the cult or perhaps paid off by them?
It is a distinct possibility that he has some kind of involvement, although what, I can't be sure. Given his position, he does have the opportunity, but it's hard. It's really almost impossible to say at this point. I wouldn't trust him, any further than I can throw him. But past that, it could just be him looking out for his own sake, trying to avoid complications with, random outside individuals and police matters. Or maybe this has been a problem that's been plaguing this area for a while, and people coming in and asking questions reminds him of their inability to take care of it. Although I would wager to guess it's more likely that he has some kind of involvement, because it's unlikely that they don't know a lot about what's going on around here.
That's concerning. All right. Jasper, you didn't have any difficulties with your discharge from the hospital? The police didn't
Did
hurt?
I have any difficulties in my discharge from the...
The police were still there when you left. They didn't stop you from leaving.
No. It was quite empty. And I made sure to look at the police officers to see if they let me go.
Well, I figure if you didn't give them a reason to do something, then they're not going to necessarily jump the gun. I was intentionally avoiding doing too much, sharing too much with the captain, as I was honestly a little bit afraid. I didn't know if saying the wrong thing might mean I wasn't going to walk out of that police station.
As you all are talking, there's a knock at the door. It
Oh,
opens, and Florence, one of your servants, steps in, and she goes, "Pardon the interruption. There was just a call from a Miss Schoenberg. She left a message. You all can meet with a Miss Millie Adams at the Lafayette Theater tomorrow evening, and if things go well, you may be able to meet with Hilton Adams the day after."
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Um, have Alexander tomorrow contact my appraiser. I need him to evaluate these books for me.
All right.
Thank you.
And she leaves you all to your privacy.
Well, it looks like we have some appointments over the next couple of days, and it's going to take a little bit of time to copy these books as well. Hopefully Charlie's okay. Has anybody been able to get word to them?
I haven't tried.
either.
Okay. I'll well, hopefully we'll hear something soon. I would say I'd call his aunt's house, but I don't know who she is. So so anyway, yeah. I think getting these books copied, getting those conversations done with the Adams, and perhaps informing the lieutenant about suspicious activity tied to the Juju house, since he was so insistent that we let the police do their job.
Should we go to the Juju house ourselves?
I'm
Not
sure
in-
we could,
I mean, we'd want to enter there with a plan. It's
but it also gives us some days to think up a plan.
yes. It feels. You all feel like it's just an inevitability that we walk through those ghastly doors.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that was one of the last things that Jackson did.
I don't think I'll be bringing a weapon with me for the most obvious of reasons. For there's a malice in my heart.
I am nearly certain that the Juju house is a front for an African death cult in Harlem.
Well, when you say it like that, it sounds real bad.
It is real bad.
Lawrence, I know this might be troubling, but I think Ricardo was trying to be funny. As Ezekiel says that, you can tell humor does not come naturally to him, and he's trying to be funny himself.
At this
And
point, she's being very serious, so she's not going to joke about this. I'm not certain we'll all walk out of there.
No.
So
No.
get some rest tonight. We'll have some things to do over the next couple of days, and we need to really cash out a plan. If we don't want to tell the police, we don't tell the police, but I don't know. Let's talk it over after we've had a chance to rest.
It's treacherous because it feels like there might be some in the department that we could trust or reasonably trust, and there's some obviously that we can't.
Yeah, and there's the whole issue of jurisdiction thing with that being in the captain's precinct.
How it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, at least I'll be around to patch up anyone who needs it.
All
Well,
right.
I would probably, given the assumptions we have about the dangers involved, I would probably urge you to come prepared, Ezekiel. I myself am not a fighter, but you know, I will try to defend myself if need be.
Don't sell yourself short. I've seen you with a shovel.
So very good
And
at digging holes.
as you all think about what is to come and the consequences of potential actions, I think this is a great time for us to wrap up our adventure for the evening. So first, let me say thank you to you all for helping tell this story today. And then thank you to all the people who are still watching, because it has certainly been an interesting experience. Really quickly, we'll go ahead and let these wonderful people tell you where you can find them on the internet. And we'll start with Glyza.
Hey everyone, my name is Glyza. Pronouns are they, he, she. You can find me everywhere. On at Classical Glyza. If you look for at Classical Glyza in any of the socials, if you find that name, hey, guess what? You found me. I am not really doing a lot on the internet nowadays, other than streaming on my website. Sorry, on my Twitch account, on my own Twitch account. I've been cross stitching and doing different kinds of chill, just chatting stream, because I am raising money for a good friend of mine who is trapped in an abusive relationship. And we're trying to get her a chance to escape. But since they're stuck in that relationship currently now, and their socials are being monitored, I'm the one doing the raising of the money for it. So almost all of the stuff I'm doing is for that. You can find that information on my Twitter, on my Twitch. But if you want to know more about it, just check me out on Saturdays. That's what I do at 4:30. I stream cross stitch and run ads so that I get the revenues to send it off to my friend. That's it for me.
All right, next up, Ink Club.
Hey everybody. You can find me on Twitter, Inkblood Demon. Start playing is where I run some games online, Inkblood Demon. I'm on Ree's Discord. I'm on the McStabber Discord as Inkblood Demon. And you can find me there. And really appreciate our viewers and everyone who hang tight with us through the insanity that is this game.
All right, next up, Mama.
Hey everybody, I am Mama McStabber, and of course you can find me here on Sundays playing Call of Cthulhu until Florence walks into the obvious viper's nest and gets shot to death or stabbed to death. It's going to be fun. And you can also catch me on McStabber Studios Twitch channel, and we have loads of stuff going on there. Wednesdays is Dark Ages. We actually have our season 4 finale this week, and then Thursday I am running Monster of the Week. We do a monthly serial of that, so that's Thursday evening. And Friday we have session 2 of our Wraith story portion of Queen's Gambit, which is a multi-splat World of Darkness game set in Milwaukee in modern nights. So that's Friday night. And then Saturday, we have Call of Cthulhu run by Tiss over there in the afternoon. And then in the evening, you can see Ree and myself playing vampires in Chicago at circa 2010 in the evening on Saturdays. So
Wonderful opportunities all around. Next up, Sir Monolith.
Yeah, I'm Sir Monolith, or at Sir Monolith on socials. You can mostly just find me here, doing things on Ree's channel. So keep an eye out for an upcoming new game on Tuesdays. It's going to be a lot of fun. But for now, keep coming back here because this is the place to be.
All right. With that, thank you for being here. There are some links in our chat here, both related to our Discord as well as other people whose channel you should definitely check out if you're looking for something fun to do. But with all that said, please join us next week as we continue this adventure and find out just what's going on in Harlem.